It's all for you.
All for you. Freedom.
Keep your ears to the ground.
Talking about the freedom.
It's the best show in town.
Let's show it down. Freedom. Well. Freedom.
I give you freedom. Yes, it's right.
Freedom.
Start right now.
Freedom.
Get your freedom tonight.
Freedom.
Hi, lovelies. Good morning. I'm so glad you're here with us again. I miss you. I miss being in person, but I'm so glad that we get to include so many people from all over the world. If you're visiting us this morning from another state that is not California or another country that is not the US of A, would you throw that in your comments? We'd love to see it. We'd love to throw it up on the screen. And I'm Pastor Kate, and I'm just so glad that you're here. This morning, what you can expect is gorgeous music from the band behind me, as always. We'll have a short spiritual nugget to just get you thinking and grounded and centered, and we'll follow that up with a meditation to really love ourselves well and ground ourselves for the coming week and anything that we have to face. And we'll just be together in collective conversation and have time together to show ourselves love and each other love and connect in whatever way we can right now through these awkward screens. So glad you're here, and stay with us, and we'll just keep holding each other through these crazy times. Love you.
There is a shadow in the hallway trying to frighten you. Don't let the darkness surround you. You can make it through. Don't you give up on the kingdom. Think it's crashing in. No, it ain't worth all the worry. They'll still let you in. Someday soon these worries roll on. Someday soon enough. Yeah, sometimes the weight of decisions try to bury you. Don't let the shame tell you something that you know ain't true. Just 'cause you feel like a stranger, yeah, that don't mean you are. God, I could use a reminder of what forgiveness is for. Well, someday soon these worries roll on. Someday soon enough. Yeah, sometimes the cold wind blows, sometimes the wolves rush in. Don't think the battle's over just 'cause you say someday sooner. If someday soon these worries roll on, someday soon enough. Sometimes the cold wind blows, sometimes the wolves rush in. Don't think the battle's over just 'cause you say amen. Sometimes the cold wind blows, sometimes the wolves rush in. Don't think the battle's over just 'cause you say amen.
Thanks, Colby. Good morning. Oh, gosh, we're supposed to say good morning. One of us should.
Good morning.
Good morning. Do you want to say good morning?
Sure.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sojourn Grace. Welcome to our time together where we unload and offload and hopefully recharge and reboot a little bit with each other. It's been a wild week here in these United States of America, and
As we say every week.
what else is new? But I guess let's just have a moment and think about all the victims of the virus, all of them. It's not. I was thinking about it a little this morning. I was thinking about how if it were almost any other president, we for sure here at Sojourn would be like saying something this morning, and at least sending out some well-wishing. And I'll be 100% honest with you. I do not have that in me. That is not a thing I'm capable of doing. So instead, I'm going to focus my energy on thinking about everyone who's suffering from the virus, and you do it however you need to. So if you have the capacity to look at this country's leader and hope well for that person, then you can do that. I'm just going to think about all of them, all the people who've suffered from it and will suffer from it, and let's just keep praying that our nation does the right things to protect one another during this time. So, amen. Welcome to Sojourn Grace. Are we doing another song now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. To explain it, but I know the words will hardly do. Your miracles, signs and wonders aren't enough for me to prove to you. Don't you know I've always loved you? Even before there was time. On your darkest day, I tell you still. But don't you know I've always loved you, and I always will. La, la, la. Well, there is no greater love than the love that gives its life to prove that it would do anything, and that's what I'm gonna do for you. time. And on your darkest day, I'll tell you still. Well, don't you know I've always loved you? And I always will. La, la, don't you know I've always loved you, even before there was time. Though you turn away, I'll tell you still. Yeah, don't you know I've always loved you, and I always will. Say la la la.
Good morning, dear ones. I don't know if you saw during the countdown.
what is happening?
We're back. I don't know. I don't know if you saw during the countdown, but do you have the mouse? So the iPad is set up as a, one second. The iPad's set up as a monitor to the left of that screen. So your mouse, I think, just went too far to the left. So just bring the mouse back. Keep coming, I see it. There, you should have it now. Sorry.
Technology.
Can't do what I'm supposed to do, Colby.
It's not you, it's me. Anyway, I don't know if you saw during the, did you just affirm that a
Emphatically.
little too earnestly?
Yes. I just meant that no one should feel bad for not understanding
Absolutely.
all of this incredible technology.
Oh,
we have.
100%.
That's all. That was what my emphatic.
All right, I'm holding this plate of cookies, which is our communion for later today, but we don't need that many, so I snuck one during that last song. But
Yeah, you
we're
did.
going to do communion at the end of our gathering here, so get your stuff together.
You're gonna
All right,
die when you see this question.
I'm not ready to go. Or maybe I am.
No, it's a good kind of dying. There's
I don't know.
there's lots of different kinds of death, Colby Martin.
So
this is a good dying.
This is our collective conversation moment in our service. This is the time
Is my
where
mic going? Okay.
yeah,
It felt weird.
this is the
All right.
time where we're gonna pull these questions out of this. We don't know the questions are, and we're gonna announce them. And Karen's gonna type them onto the screen, and we're gonna invite you to share with us.
Okay, but not.
Do you need to respond to something?
Yes. Hi, Evelyn. Hi.
Evelyn Mason?
Yes.
What up, Eve? EVM
I'm
in the
commenting
house.
hi to you and saying it to
It has
you
been
in the
too
microphone
long
because I
since we
miss
have-
you. I miss
We
you,
have been
Evelyn.
together.
Okay.
First question.
The first question is: when you think about success, who comes to mind and why?
Ooh.
Do you see why you're dying?
Yep. That is funny.
Isn't that funny? Sorry.
Okay, when you think about
Inside.
success,
My hair is awkwardly caught on my
who comes to mind and why? That why part's the kicker, isn't it?
Sure is.
Like, do we just think rich people are successful? But then
Nope.
the why part gets a little. LeBron James, certainly successful. Go Lakers.
You would say that.
Pretty excited about what's happening right now.
Obsessed.
Oh, by the way, if anyone's listening out there, can you let us know if me or Kate are really louder than the other? We should realize that we haven't
If
balanced that.
anyone's listening
If anyone's
out
paying attention,
there.
this will be a good test. Nobody responds. Yeah, LeBron James. Why? Because he comes to mind for me because he has, I mean, the obvious answer, he's been in the league now for 17 years as a dominating force. So he has worked hard to succeed at the highest level for the longest time. And when he's done, I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time. The other day, someone said he would have had the greatest career of all time, and I think that's a good way to put it. So, because he's worked hard.
Oh, I see that distinction.
Yeah, I like that distinction too. He's worked super hard. He's been at the top of his game. And I think he's carried with him this spirit of this beautiful combination of humility and confidence. Like, he's more confident than anyone I've ever seen in my entire life, and yet he also has this sense that it's not always about him. So the work that he does off the court is just phenomenal. So I really admire the guy, and he comes to mind when I think of success for those reasons.
Jazz, that is very appropriate. She said, I wrinkle my nose at successful and immediately think of Wall Street suit and cold cutthroat business practices. Yeah, that's what's in our minds, huh,
Yeah.
about success. So I
just
think
heard
we're trying
cold
to,
cuts, and I got hungry.
I think we're trying to redefine and rearrange the definition of success here, part of what's in the question, right?
Yeah.
Vicky says, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, both have impact that goes beyond their lifetime and maybe ours. I like those
Yeah.
examples.
Having that sort of impacts, that's successful.
Tom said, my dad came from nothing, successfully raised 6 kids to all be great people, taught us amazing work ethics.
Wow. That counts.
Anissa said, yeah, sounds fine. So you're good on the sound thing. She's got your
great.
back there.
Thanks, Anissa. One person's listening. That's all I need.
Laura
All I ever need.
listed a few different people. Where'd her comment go?
Have you answered yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
The first person that just like visually popped into my head was Elizabeth Gilbert. Because I think that for me, the way I'm trying to rearrange success in my brain is people who, when they kind of organically do their work in the world and gain like our old definitions of success or our classic definitions of success, then take that and immediately flip it upside down
Yeah.
and give it out to the world. The way she uses her Instagram alone, and then the way she uses her finances, I just think that to me is success. Like taking
I like
your
that.
success and then sharing it with the world. Yes, I'm a socialist. Jazz's nose likes cold cuts more. I don't know what that's in response to. It's just the first comment that jumped off the page to me.
I got you, Jazz. I'm with you.
Let's see, lots of answers here. Esther Perel, and I don't think I said her name right. I always miss Esther Perel. I love her. All of the counselors that help our mental health thrive, amen, and help teach new counselors how to do the work. Love that. Nelson Mandela is on
Yes,
here
please.
a lot by many different
He was able to
folks.
change an entire nation.
Yeah,
You
I think that's
can't
success.
have that sort of impact without a lot of things. I mean, you're giving yourself to your mission, so you know what your mission in life is, and you're giving yourself fully to it. And you have to just be open. You have to constantly be open. These are the things that are coming to mind when thinking about success.
Yeah.
Just this openness and this pursuit and this.
Julie Porter says her middle child, Mel, is making a name for themselves in LGBTQ comics through laser focus and hard work. I love that
That's awesome.
answer. That's beautiful. I think I missed a bunch. The students that are logging on every morning and the teachers that are soldiering through.
Woo, woo.
Shout out, Amanda.
Successful.
Thank you.
Oh, did you
Yes.
make it through another Zoom week of school? Well done.
Did you not make it through
Well
another
done.
Zoom week of school? Also well done.
Yeah.
Oh, Jazz, I totally knew that's what you meant, and that's why I read your comment, that there's other kinds of success, but being honest about that's still what the word brings up for me. Totally. That's why I read your comment, because I love that.
Fernando says Kim
Honesty.
Kardashian. I wonder if Fernando would be willing to expand on that. Fernando, are you being
Michelle
facetious,
Obama.
or does she come to mind as success, and then we could unearth why is that? Maybe because we have
Maybe.
been given
Or we
a
can
certain,
keep going.
or we can keep going. I'm just being hospitable. This is Fernando's first time with us.
Nice.
Hi, Fernando.
Michelle was my first thought. Michelle Obama. Okay, several people think Michelle Obama. Everything with heart and great speaker. Rachel Held Evans.
Yeah.
Rip. Love you, Rachel. Glennon Doyle. Mr. Rogers. I like these answers, folks.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, amen.
Let's keep-
What more success could you possibly ask for than entirely shifting the way that we
Yeah, that's
think
great.
about
So hold this
children's
conversation of
lives?
success in mind for the rest of our morning. It will come up again. Next question.
What is something that you like that most people don't? So
Ooh.
something that you're used to when you say you like it, people go, really? Why? So like almond milk,
That's an example, though. That's
Kale.
not for you, is it?
No, I'm
Okay.
saying these are funny examples of like,
Like
I feel like
almond
every time
milk.
someone says they love almond milk, the whole room goes like, record scratch. What? You do? Yeah, because of dairy intolerance.
Mine is
Yeah.
for sure McDonald's breakfast burritos.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you could hear Karen off camera, but she said hers is for sure McDonald's breakfast burritos, which did make my head go.
I loved those in middle school.
Yeah. Well, I think the middle schooler in me just still loves them. Doesn't grew up.
What's something I like that most people don't?
Mustard on eggs sounds delicious. I put mustard on egg sandwiches.
I think you say yours in your spiritual mother.
Oh yeah, that's true. I will say mine later on in the service.
Oh.
So Matthew
Oh,
said it's
I like
easier for him
that.
to think about the
That's
inverse.
funny.
What's something that lots of people like that you don't? Yeah, that's a good question
Maybe
too.
answer it either way, my friend.
What's something that you like that
Your
most
mom just
people
said the
don't?
Patriots.
But when that's America's most popular team behind the Cowboys, I don't think that counts. I think they
Maybe she
also
was
just are
answering
the team
Matthew's
that's the
inverse.
most hated. They're simultaneously the most loved and most hated. And don't worry, watchers at home, I can argue with my mom on camera. It's fine. We're fine.
Awkward mom and son moments.
Never.
Brought to you by
Always.
Sojourn Grace Collective. Susan said mustard on eggs.
Mustard on eggs.
I would agree. That's well,
Most
unless
people
you're
don't
making
like that. I would agree.
put mustard in like egg salad and deviled eggs. Michelle says kale, yummy. So that cleaning. Laura Cashin loves cleaning.
Oh, that qualifies.
Yep, that's a
for
good
this
answer. I
question.
hate cleaning. That's awesome. I love people who love
You
cleaning. I
like
wish
them.
I was that person.
See,
That would make my
I
life
think here's
easier.
where I'm getting tripped up with this is I'm overly image conscious that I'm a little bit afraid to like things that other people don't unless it puts me in this unique category. But that's what's hard for me to name is I don't want to name that I like something just because it puts me in a unique category. That's too vulnerable too. So I think overall I'm just struggling with this question.
Sorry about your mind over there. Sounds like a lot.
Do I just
Meanwhile,
like
we've
things that
got
people don't just because?
apple cider vinegar with fried catfish, black-eyed peas and
Okay,
grits.
okay. So food is coming to the food. A lot of food is what's
Anissa's
coming to
questioning
people's
why
mind.
people don't like almond milk. I thought that was a thing, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe people generally like almond milk. Oh, that's right, Karen. That's right. Karen and I had a funny moment where we realized that oftentimes when that thing happens in a room where people are like, oh, you like almond milk? It's the people who've only tasted the unsweetened that are like, oh, and then the people who like it are the people who've had the sweetened. I don't know if that's true across the board, but it feels like
So
it's been my
Jesse Hawkins says coffee bean over Starbucks, and I would bet that if people did blind taste tests, they would all agree with you. But Starbucks
Oh,
has
really?
such a strong
just because of monopoly on it.
brand
Yeah.
power.
Creamed
The coffee
corn.
bean's good.
That's a good one, Tom. Creamed corn. And also almond milk, he says.
Like together, you put almond milk in your creamed corn.
Puts creamed corn in Kraft mac and cheese.
Ooh, I would sit and eat that with
Strong.
Tom.
Strong.
Yeah, creamed corn in
Amanda
mac
Wallace,
and cheese.
Taco Bell. So ours would be
that's
Del
funny.
Taco.
Oh, no. How can you not like Del Taco? Del Taco's the best. I want Del Taco right now so
Okay.
bad. French fries
Peanut
and
butter on
tacos.
hamburgers. Man, we're going. These are
Ketchup
some
and
deep
pasta.
cuts here, people.
Lisa likes ketchup and pasta. I don't even know what that means. Like pasta with sauce and then ketchup, or just like plain pasta noodles with ketchup on top? Please answer that.
Uncooked, just
Comments?
crunchy.
Peanut butter on hamburgers, that's hilarious. Strawberry jam with my eggs, yep. Grits, broccoli, fried pickles. I love fried pickles.
I like cold showers.
Country music. That's my answer. I love country music, and I don't even care what you say about it. Love country music.
There's a cold shower. Oh, we got two for cold showers in the
cold
room.
showers. Oh, okay, cool. Star Trek, Spam. Oh my gosh, love those salty meats and miss it all. I miss it all crispy on a bagel.
Robert likes Nickelback. Oh, Michelle just exposed. I don't know if Robert gave permission for that.
The smell of gasoline and cigarettes.
my answer would be Creed. I still like
These are
Creed. I still
awesome.
think their first two albums were phenomenal. So yeah, I'm with you, Robert. Don't let people's.
Oh,
don't-
Benjamin's
yeah.
with me on the loving country music. I didn't know that.
The
New
smell of
friendship level.
gasoline, Sammy Moran.
And cigarettes. I love the smell of cigarettes. I love the smell of cigarettes. Our cat.
Our cat.
Sorry.
What's
cackle
something you
in the
like that most
microphone.
people don't? Our
Our
cat.
cat.
Look, we're just being
I think I
honest.
could say that too about all my pets.
All right, should we do one more? Or should we move on to our next
No,
segment?
I think we should move on, but these are all so great. I want to read them all.
Oh, wait, there's another
Smell
yes
of
to cleaning.
asphalt and tar. That smell makes me legit sick. Yeah, more cleaning. Alex likes syrup
Tar,
on
you
eggs.
like
We have a
that?
kid who will only eat eggs if there's syrup on them. Vacuuming. Okay, man, this is just...
Squats and leg day. That's true. I don't hear many people say they like leg day at the
But
gym.
Pedro
That's
would, yep.
that's the one that people seem to
Deep
reject.
thoughts that overlap with existential longing. Me too, Mercy. Are you an Enneagram 4 by chance? Same as is. That's awesome. Oh, man. I love this. This is fun. I could just read these all day, every day. Oh, Lisa answered my question plain. So, like, plain cooked noodles and then ketchup on.
Lilia dipping French fries in chocolate shakes. That's
That's a phenomenon.
a thing.
People love
Don't
that.
let your mom tear you down on that. What's easy cheese? Oh, is that the spray cheese?
Oh, spray
This has
can
been
cheese.
a fascinating
Is that what it
segment.
is, Kevin?
Yeah, I think so.
Easy cheese.
All right, Michelle Nickel confirmed that yes, Robert
Oh,
did give
ketchup and
permission
pasta
to have
without
his
sauce, but with
like for Nickelback be exposed. So, well done.
Fascinating. I'm sorry. The pasta and ketchup thing keeps escalating, and I'm really excited about it. She
You don't
thinks
have
it
to
was her
apologize,
mom's
but we are gonna
go-to
move
when
on.
she was pregnant with her. I think that's so fascinating. I love that.
Okay, so thank you so much for participating with us in Collective Conversations. We will do this again in 7 days. What we're going to do
It's too
next.
fun for me. I can't. I'm just.
No,
not
you're fine.
getting
You
to
keep
any
doing
of the
that. I'm just going
comments.
to talk to the peoples. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to, here in a minute, we're going to bring on Alyssa Holston Artiega. And Alyssa has,
right now?
yes, you need the earbud.
Yeah, it's in my ear.
Oh, you're 3 steps ahead of me. And Alyssa has been on our board of elders here at Sojourn for, I believe, 4 years, serving as the chair.
real?
I think so. So for like 80% of Sojourn's
That's
life.
past
And she served as the chair of our board for the last, I think, about a year it's been. And this last month was her final month. She's rolling off, and she served her term, I think her term, and then an extra one. And we wanted to bring her on this morning to both thank her and to just share her with you, because a lot of you have joined Sojourn relatively recently and may not even know Alyssa, which is just tragic to me. So without any more ado than I've already had done, let's bring on Alyssa. And there she is.
We're all nervous about this technology.
Hey! It worked. So Alyssa's here.
Yay!
So Alyssa, if you'll just say hi, I'll confirm that we can hear you.
Hello, good morning, Sojo. It's Alyssa, live and in
Wonderful.
I
person.
hear her. You hear
Yes,
her?
I
We
do.
hear her.
Okay,
Hopefully the
hi.
people
Thanks for
hear her.
joining us this morning, Alyssa. It's good to have you.
It's my pleasure to be here. It's great to see you all, even though it's virtually, but to engage with you and laugh with you and smile with you. Miss you all so much in person.
I love it. I love it.
Well, we wanted to take a moment to, it feels a little bit weird to do like a goodbye, Alyssa, as chair of the board, because you're not going anywhere. To be clear, you're not going anywhere. But you are
I'm
rolling
not going
off.
anywhere. You guys are stuck with me as much as you were hoping this was an exit. You are not. It's just a new season.
You're right. But it is still very meaningful to me to say goodbye to this chapter of your life at Sojo, and so we just want to hold space for that and honor that. It has been the
Feels like
thing-
I'm dying.
I know! You should have seen me the other night on our board meeting when we honored Alyssa there. I was an absolute wreck, could barely talk, just sobbing, and I'm like, this is not her funeral!
I'm not dying.
But I have composure today about it. But I do just want to tell all the people what I have told you privately and in our board meeting, which is that I will follow you anywhere and I want to be like you when I grow up. It is my only goal is to be a person who can hold as much space as you do for nuance and third way thinking. You're my guru, you're my person, and I love you, and I will follow you to the end of the earth. And I'm so grateful that you served the way that you did on our board, so that now we can take the Alyssa way and just, our new thing will be what would Alyssa do, and WWED, and just what would be the
That's
third way.
scary.
In everything we'll be asking, okay, what would she say is the third way here? Or at least asking, is there a third way here? And I just think the fact that you have shaped that in us is, there are no words. We're so grateful for that. So
Well, I'm a 5 and I have tears in my eyes, so there you go.
Oh, nice. And we were
got her.
recording this. We've got documentation here. Okay, so we have a few questions we'd love to hear from Alyssa, right?
yes.
And I believe the first question is looking back at your time in service to the Sojourn community as a member of our board. What stands out to you as a highlight? What stands out to you as something that it just, when you think back to something in the
Favorite
Sojourn
Sojo
world,
moment?
just fills you with joy and delight?
Well, I think it's two different questions. Like what I think my favorite Sojo moment, true confession, isn't necessarily on the board, but so so I'll do a twofold answer. I think what I am most proud of about time on the board is just how we navigated through some tumultuous times and some growing pains, and all of us together came out stronger and better and think more inspired and determined to really ensure that Sojo thrives and endures and meets its tremendous potential to have such an impact in our community and in our lives, but also in the lives that we have yet to touch. And so I'm so proud of that work that we did it, and we did it together, and we are better for it. And I'm so proud of everybody on the board and the staff and everybody that was a part of the journey. My favorite Sojo moment, there are lots of them because I've been around for a minute, but I think, there are backyard movie nights, which will continue once we can, be live and in
Those are such a
again,
delight.
right? And, Vicky playing the Pied Piper on the lawn and all the adults hanging out on the patio talking and be like, yeah. But I think one of my biggest highlights was the Pride takeover, which really wasn't a takeover. It was kind of on the place anyway. But it was such a beautiful thing that Matthew created for a safe journey, steps out for some folks that were just kind of safe at Sojo, but have not really popped their heads out yet. And it created a really safe place to do that. And more than anything, like I had a very long, slow journey out and always felt accepted at Sojo, but there was something magical that can't be put into words about celebrating Pride with our Sojo family, where we were just felt so celebrated with, and celebrated for. So I think, that's one of my favorite Sojo memories for sure.
Wow.
So Alyssa's referencing, for those who don't know, Matthew organized what he called a queer takeover, and the entire service that Sunday was put on by and served by folks who identify in the LGBTQ community, and it was just gorgeous. So, next question.
Next question.
Yeah.
You passed the first one.
Apparently not, because I prepared for the wrong question. I'm a 5. I prepared people. Don't tell me any.
That was why we sent them to you ahead of time. We couldn't do that to you. You got a full 20-minute heads up.
I got a full 20-minute heads up.
Yeah, I love that. Actually, I think she kind of answered our second question.
Yeah. Well.
Yep. So we'll move on to the third question.
That's great.
Yeah, which is, interrupt me if I'm wrong, Alyssa. Do you have an answer prepared for the second question? What was the second question?
I do, but that's okay.
Okay. No, share it, please. What was it? I'm forgetting
Well,
it. I'm having a brain fart.
That's okay. You had asked how I have kind of seen Sojo grow.
Oh, yeah. How did we grow? That is different than what are you most proud of?
Yeah.
How have we grown?
Yeah, I think we've grown in so many ways. I've seen us grow physically from being 30 odd people in your living room when you lived in North Park, and just this people committed to finding, knowing that there was a path, knowing that there was a calling, and especially the leadership team being a group of people committed to one another and committed to helping each other find their calling and find whatever Sojo would become's calling, and the amazing way that has taken place in this amazing, thriving community that is here to really create and cultivate social, emotional, and spiritual wholeness and well-being in people. And I'm just so proud of that. I think that Sojo really is an authentic community where everybody's embraced and celebrated for who we are and finding our identity as beloved children of God. And we started as this ragamuffin crew of disenfranchised, disillusioned, deconstructing sojourners, and look at us now, reconstructing, critiquing, transcending, and including, finding our path to that spiritual wholeness, finding our identity as beloved children of God through practices, whatever that path may be, traditional or non-traditional. And so I just couldn't be prouder of who we have grown to be, what our next chapter and our season holds for us. So.
I like hearing her describe our church.
Me too. Yeah.
Really cool. Also,
Everybody needs to have that person that you can like see yourself through the eyes of them, and Alyssa is so that person for me. Yep.
also, it's funny that I turned to look at you live in person here, but on
Oh,
screen,
that's weird.
I should have put my frame on the far right.
It is weird. It's okay, there's a little
It's
delay, like
really
move my
weird.
head, and it moves like 5 seconds later.
All right, what are you hopeful for in our vision moving forward? What is exciting for you about the future and this next phase of Sojourn's life? Which is a tricky question. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but
It is and it isn't. I think that it is like our future is before us. I think even just how we've embraced, when I say we, I mean you, have embraced the reality and made lemonade out of the lemons of COVID, which is kind of the story of our lives. Speaking of Zoom hell in children, that's, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And you've taken that and you've leveraged it to be innovative and find different ways of bringing people together and connecting people, giving people more varied ways of participating and contributing, and through these live groups and the virtual, connections that are being cultivated, and creating the space for meditation and practice, because seeing that it's a need. And so I just see us continuing. That's that next season of assessing what the needs of our community and responding to that. And I think it's something that the leadership team does so well and continues to do. So I'm excited to see us grow in that journey and help others to find their spiritual connection, their divine identity. And I think that what I'm most excited about is really, really kind of one of the reasons that we're sitting here and this transition is that how we are living out. We're not just talking about what it means to support LGBTQ. We're not just talking about what it means to support social justice. We do it tangibly, right? Through Unidos por Siempre, and now in COVID, finding alternative ways to do that. And this next season, racial injustice is certainly nothing new, but it is something that is certainly much more in the cognizant awareness of people, and ushering us and taking advantage of that increased awareness and say it's time for us to put our money where our mouth is. It's time for us to not talk about being anti-racist, but it's time for us to practice and put into practice being anti-racist through our policies, through our systems, and through our practices. So I love seeing us grow into giving preference to Black-owned businesses, providing monetary support to people of color-led organizations like RE Hope, and giving preference to people of color in positions of authority, thus giving preference to people of color in these upcoming board vacancies, is what living out these principles looks like. And it's messy and it's uncomfortable to confront privilege, and it's uncomfortable. And so I'm proud of us for taking on that work. And I really see that as, I think, the edge of our next chapter.
I love it.
thank you, Alyssa. Do we have the standing ovation applause track?
I don't know. Hit the A button. See what happens. A button? Yeah.
If we were gathering in person right now, there would be standing ovations. So
That's awesome. All right.
love you, friend.
I love you and I'm proud
stay
of
put.
you, and I'm not going anywhere.
Okay,
That's
love
true.
you. And stay put right now. We're gonna bring Steven
You're
on.
going down there a little bit.
Stay put.
Come on
would
in,
be
Steven.
moved.
Hey, what's up, Steven?
Hello, everyone. How are you guys?
Good.
It's good to see you, buddy.
Yay.
All right. So why
You
is
too.
Steven?
So
Who is Steven and why is he here?
Steven is here because Steven, I'm going to let Steven introduce himself, but I am going to introduce his new role. Steven is being brought into this video right now because Steven already serves on our board at Sojourn and was voted in the best choice as transition to chair as Alyssa steps down. So Steven is taking on that role.
Thumbs up.
I don't know where to put anything right now with all the screens. Anyway, and we're so glad that he is taking on that role for us and excited to see what that looks like. So, Steven, tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself to the Sojo crew here hanging out.
Yeah, sure.
There's a-
My name's Stephen Van Lyon. I have been coming with my family, my husband Mike and our now 8-year-old daughter Wesley, coming to Sojo for a couple years now and joined the board, I guess the very beginning of this year, and have just loved kind of every opportunity to get connected to this community, and have been really, really pleased to be able to serve it in a different way, joining the board here and then transitioning into chair as Alyssa transitions back into the world of just membership.
Awesome. So yeah, can you, jumping off of that, please, can you share with us why did you want to join the Sojo board? What drives you to serve at Sojo?
Yeah, ultimately it comes down to just me being like absolutely bought into our mission. This concept of wholeness. I think, if you think of just the first component of spiritual wholeness, I think that's typically what you'll find in a church. And oftentimes it's spiritual wholeness for what that church thinks is wholeness. And one of the unique things about Sojo is that it's very much focused on wholeness in its entirety, which is funny because that word whole means whole, not just any individual facet of wholeness. But I saw this mission and this community that was really just striving for all aspects of wholeness, and recognizing that was kind of unique and different to each person. I saw actions more than words. I saw commitment to social justice. I saw getting engaged with the community, reaching out beyond just kind of our bubble, and recognizing that there was more going on in the world than just us, and still wanting to do our parts to make it better. And then I also found a place where my family connected, which is not always easy, being a gay family and having a daughter. One of the awesome things at Sojo is that they see every person, regardless of your age, as a whole person. And she gets to be all of herself, and develop relationships and connection and her own kind of sense of being, including this aspect of spirituality and spiritual wholeness through her participation and our attendance in this community. So I just found that really, really engaging and exciting. I have a heart of leadership and service, and have participated in corporate and nonprofit boards in the past, and just saw an opportunity to continue to serve this community that I so much appreciate being a part of.
I love it. Thank you, friend.
Thanks for sharing. We were delighted to have you join Sojourn when you and Michael and Wesley started coming, were like a year and a half or two ago. That was great enough. And then you put your name in the hat as a potential person to serve on a board, which was just even more encouraging. And now to see you step up and step into this role as the chair of our board, Stephen, I couldn't be more grateful and excited for us as a community, for us as co-pastors to sit under your leadership and to chase after this mission with you. Can you just tell us maybe in a sentence or two, what is something as you look forward to in your time of being chair? What's the new term, like 7 years, something like that? For being the chair, what's something that you get really
Yes.
excited about looking
Stephen
forward
for 7 years.
into the future of Sojo?
Honestly, Alyssa kind of stole a bit of my answer to this question because it's similar. Really this year, 2020, has been like the year, right? The year of the unpredictable, the year of the difficult. And I think what I'm excited about is to see how we stay connected and stay a community and stay engaged and support one another and stay striving towards that mission together through all of this. It's a pandemic. It's racial and social and economical inequality. It's injustice all over the world. It's an election and all that will come with that. And that, like, our ability to I guess thrive through that is gonna be hard. And I don't know that any one of us could do it alone. And so it really just puts more importance on us as a community to be there for one another, to allow people to connect even virtually. And at some point, again, I know we're all looking forward to this unknown date in the future where we can connect physically together in the same room, but to hold space for like all that we're just going through. This is a community that you don't have to pretend that everything is perfect, that you get to be who you are and to feel all the things that you're feeling and know that there are people that will hold you and support you. And again, I know this is going to be hard, but I guess what I'm excited about is really just that you have pastors and the two of you, and you have a board and you have a staff and you have a community that's here to help you through it, to help each member of this church through it, and to help our communities through it. And that gets me really, really, really excited. I kind of joked on our call a couple weeks ago, I have much bigger feet than Alyssa, but I will not try to fill her shoes. She has done amazing things for this community, and I will continue to support and try and honor what she's done and honor the community that is Sojo.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Alyssa, thank you for passing the baton. You want to
Yeah.
go like this to that side? You can. Yep, there you go. He's taking it. Awesome.
Oh, we're fun.
Love you guys. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Love
And
you.
this worked. Oh my
Thank
God, the
you.
technology
It
worked.
did work.
Yay.
Thank you so much. And
Love
a
you
shout
all.
out to our other board members, Greg Phillips, Eric Nichter, who have a couple more months left and their terms are up, and Sammy Moran, who joined at the same time as Stephen. And then just to reiterate what we've been saying for the last couple of weeks is that we are looking to not only fill the spot that Alyssa's vacancy created, but also add one more spot. And these 2 spots we are saying are designated for people of color, because we made a mistake in this last board go around. For the first time in board's history, we have an all-white board, and we need to rectify that immediately. So we are in the process of interviewing some great candidates, and if you are someone out there who's a person of color and wants to serve, please let us know. We would love to talk with you as well.
Awesome.
Anything else?
Thank you all. Nope.
All right.
Yay.
Love you. Bye,
Back to
Alyssa. Bye,
awesome music.
Stephen. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
Wow, that was fun.
Yeah, that
We did
worked.
it.
We did it.
Okay.
That's great.
Well,
Take this,
music.
Alana.
Them, not us.
I'm very happy for this example of a peaceful transition of power.
It wasn't that hard. It didn't seem hard. It really breaks my heart to see a dear old friend go down in the worn-out place again. Do you know the sound of a closing door? Have you heard that sound somewhere before? Do you wonder if she knows you anymore? Wrapped your love around me like a chain, but I never was afraid that it would die. You can dance in a hurricane, but only if you're standing in the eye. Where did you learn to walk? Where did you learn to run? Away from everything you love. Did you think the bottle would ever ease your pain? Did you think that love's a foolish game? Did you find someone else to take the blame? I wrapped your love around me like a chain, but I never was afraid that it would die. You can dance in a hurricane, but only if you're standing in the eye. You can dance in a hurricane, but only if you're standing in the eye. I am a sturdy soul, and there ain't no shame in lying down in the bed you made. Can you fight the urge to run for another day? You might make it further if you learn to stay. Wrap your love around me like a chain, but I never was afraid that it would die. You can dance in a hurricane, but only if you're standing in the eye. You can dance in a hurricane, but only if you're standing in the eye.
Question for you. When's the last time that a voice in your head told you that you weren't doing enough? And how did that make you feel? Hold on, we're trying to get the slides figured out. There it is.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So that's the question. When's the last time a voice in your head told you weren't doing enough? Maybe not enough. Whatever. I was going to give an example of practicing with the slides, but that's not the point. And how did that make you feel? It made me feel fine. So here's what I want to say about that. At a young age, I can remember cluing in pretty quickly to the fact that I was well suited for success in school. Not because I was smarter than the other kids, but because the way that public schools are designed and how our culture models the education, it just so happened to fit with my particular disposition and my skill set. For example, generally speaking, I can sit still and listen to lectures and enjoy them with ease. You know, keeping attention isn't a challenge for me. Second, my desperation for adults' approval, while on the one hand, it was an emotional tool developed as a survival mechanism, was, on the other hand, at the same time, a handy asset for getting on teachers' good side. I could ingratiate myself with teachers pretty naturally. Third, I can remember a lot of information for a short amount of time. So memorizing material for the sake of regurgitating it on a test in a couple weeks, for me, no problem. Fourth, whatever number I'm on, writing has always come pretty natural to me. So what I might have lacked in substance, I knew that I could make up for in style. With the right adverbs, redundancy, repetition, and pizzazz, stretching one paragraph into four, this made procrastination as a way of life relatively possible for me. And then finally, as an Enneagram 3, if I'm not the best at something, it's actually like psychologically and kind of emotionally painful for me. So I think I knew early on that things would go better for me if I was at or near the top of the class. So things like ambition and drive, which were natural tools for me in my toolbox, they became beneficial for me in the context of school. But also at the same time, when I think back on that, speaking of being an Enneagram 3, I also learned that in terms of my GPA, a 90% was the same as 100%. Both got me an A. So why would I do more work than absolutely necessary? That did not seem very efficient to me. And efficiency plus being the best at something, that's an Enneagram 3's dream. So my approach to high school was basically this. X of y equals z. This is the equation I came up with. X of y equals z, where x was how much of the y, which is the work you had to do in order to get z, the goal. How much of this work in order to get to the goal, which for me was an A. And please don't fact check my math because I applied my minimum effort required to algebra just like everything else. But I was all about the X. I was all about the X. No more, no less, just figure this out and do exactly enough. But my entire system came crashing down, however, when I took what I assumed would be a cakewalk elective class, Keyboard Typing 101 with Pam Weiler. A teacher in whom I could never quite find an ingratiating crack to squeeze through, she caught me off guard. Because in her class, it turned out, it wasn't about meeting a minimum threshold on how many words per minute you could type. Rather, it was about tracking your progress and improvement and learning from your mistakes. Guys, these were not evaluative metrics for which I was prepared. As a result, my very first B in high school came in Miss Weiler's keyboarding class, ruining my shot at valedictorian. I ask you again, when's the last time that voice in your head told you that you weren't doing enough? And how did that make you feel? I'm finding there's an interesting relationship between what our goal is with how much will it take to get there. In other words, if you have an idea of what your Z is, how much of Y do you have to do? What is your X? This past week, I can't remember exactly what I was doing in the moment, but I found myself on this mental spiral that I traveled down with some degree of regularity. And the gist of it is this. In addition to my roles as co-pastor here at Sojourn, I've written a couple books that I try and sell. I co-host a podcast that I hope people listen to. I publish a weekly newsletter that, again, I effort to disseminate. I've got multiple websites and social media platforms and email databases that I try not to just maintain, but grow. And these are some of the avenues of my vocational life that I'm pursuing a type of success in, to go back to our earlier conversation around success. And I have, though I admit it with some degree of embarrassment, probably because I don't like admitting to or showing people that I try at things, I have read books and articles and watched YouTube videos designed to help build your platform, to help sell your first 500 books, and to grow your email list to over 1,000 in the first 30 days. As a result, over the past few years, I feel like I've gotten a pretty good sense of what it takes to really make it in these worlds, to have the type of success that starts offering a return on your investment. In other words, if success in all of this is the Z, then I have a good grasp on Y as how much to do, how much of my X I need to do of these things to be successful. And this mental spiral that I fell down this past week for probably the 57th time, just in 2020, is this harsh realization that, quite frankly, I'm not doing enough of Y. I'm not posting enough. I'm not writing enough. I'm not reaching out to the right sorts of people enough. I'm not doing enough. I am well below X in this equation. Now, in the past, when I've gone down this mental spiral, I've pulled myself out of it by insisting, no, Colby, you are doing enough. You're doing just fine. Stop putting so much pressure and stress on yourself. You're working hard. You are doing enough. And you can't control the outcome anyway, so release all that and just enjoy the work. You're doing enough. This is how I would talk to myself. And in those sorts of moments, I think back to my high school days and I remind myself that doing 90% is just as good as 100%. As Elizabeth Gilbert or Brene Brown, I don't remember who said it or where I got it from, but somebody out there said, good enough is really freaking good. And this sort of self-talk, it works. Sometimes. And other times, I end up feeling like I'm trying to swindle myself. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe this is also an Enneagram 3 thing. I don't know. But do you ever try and sell your own self something, but you also kind of know it's BS? So this time around, this last week, instead of that approach, I had this thought. What if I just agreed with the voice that's saying I'm not doing enough? What if I said, you're right, I'm not. Not in a shamey sort of way, but just in an acceptance kind of way. And when I did that, when I agreed with that voice in my head, suddenly it felt different. It felt true. Because if a certain type of success in these avenues is my goal, then it's accurate to say I'm not doing enough of the things it takes to get me there. A comparison might be if your goal is a marathon, but you're only training once a week, and your training is just walking around the block a couple times. The legit truth is you're not doing enough. So here's what I'm discerning when it comes to the voice in your head that sneers at you, you're not doing enough. I think sometimes maybe the best response is to firmly reply back to that voice and say, no, voice in my head, you are wrong. I am doing enough. I will not be made to feel less than by the siren calls of more. And responding in this way, I think, is an act of compassion for yourself. And especially in times like these when we are all running on freaking fumes, showing this kindness and tenderness to yourself, maybe it's never been more important. Good enough is really freaking good. And then other times, maybe the response goes something like this. Yeah, you're right. I'm not doing enough. But maybe that's okay. Maybe that's okay. Because maybe it's time that we reevaluate what it is we think we want. and what our goals and our desires are. And maybe we've come to see them in a new light. And this new light that we decide that Z, this just isn't the right goal for us. And maybe it's just for now, for this season. Therefore, we don't need to do X amount of Y anymore. Maybe running a marathon is not the right goal for me right now. Therefore, walking around the block a couple times a week is absolutely enough. I think heaven pities the one who spends their entire life climbing a ladder, only to finally reach the top and realize the wall that the ladder leaned upon was not a wall worth scaling. Right now, we're in a season of collective stress and grief and tiredness. I think we would be wise to care for ourselves in ways that maybe we haven't practiced much before. And that might include being kind to yourself and insisting that you are doing enough. And you will not be held captive to the capitalistic drum of more, more, more. Or maybe you look anew at the walls that you've been climbing, the goals that you're chasing, the success that you're striving for. And maybe now is just not the best time for that. Yeah, I think that's all. I'll just say if that's you, if that second case is you, if you find yourself in this place of, yeah, those goals are just not the right thing for me right now, then I pray for you the courage to say, yeah, that's true. I'm not doing enough. And maybe that's okay with me. Amen.
Whose idea was it to put cookies on the plate in front of us the whole time? Just like, cookies. I am obsessed with that spiritual nugget of Colby's because as I read it earlier this week, I visualized it all as a practice of inner child meditation. So that's what we're going to practice together today in our communal meditation, collective meditation. We're going to practice an inner child meditation. As I read Colby's spiritual nugget, I envisioned him. The truth is that for decades now, we've had several different self-love movements, so much self-help movements, and we still, in 2020, are asking ourselves, how, though? How do I love myself? Everybody says you gotta love yourself, just love yourself, but what does that look like? And in Kolb's spiritual nugget, I saw the response to that question. You love yourself by having a relationship with yourself, just as you relate to your people and ask your people good questions. And you sit and you listen, and you act as a detective for them to understand their why, their story. And you bring all those parts of them with you into the relationship, and you help them discover further who they are and their why. And you help them pivot, which is what Colby's spiritual nugget was about. It was about discernment towards yourself. Is this a helpful thing right now? And then when you realize, not right now, you shift and you respond to yourself differently. That is self-love. So if you're asking, how do I love myself right now? Have a conversation with yourself. It's not crazy to talk to yourself. It's actually the sanest thing you can do. So we're going to do that today. We're going to talk to ourselves. And one of the best ways we can do that is to practice this inner child meditation where we go backwards. And we take that child by the hand and we bring them with us. That's wholeness, including those parts of ourselves in that journey. So we're going to do that today. And I know it can feel silly. To travel through time can feel silly. To talk to your child self, to hold them by the hand can feel silly. And I invite you to push through that today and to really take this seriously and just have a moment of conversation with yourself and really practice self-love in this way. So we're going to travel back in time. So if it makes sense for you in your life right now to close your eyes, it's helpful because this is a visualization meditation. It's all about visualizing. So if it would be helpful or make sense for you right now, to close your eyes. I invite you to do so. But of course, if you can't, if you're juggling other things right now, meditation does not need to be about cutting everything else out of your moment. Just include it all. So whatever you're doing right now, I invite you to visualize yourself as a young child. Just as Colby did in his spiritual nugget. That's what he was talking about when he was talking about school. So go back to whatever that looked like for you when you were young in school. Whatever your Enneagram number, whatever your tendencies, your disposition. For me, I have the exact opposite experience of school, where the way that we built school in our society is a complete and utter setup for failure for me, for failure, air quoting. And so I'm going back to that space. But then what's so helpful is to see that all of us, in these systems that we set up for ourselves, all of us are doing the same thing. We're just learning how to adapt. That's what humans do. So even Kolb, who recognized that the particulars about him were set up for success in this way, that still caused something in him to go, okay, wait, how do I react? And how do I adapt to the system? How do I survive it? And he created for himself all these survival tactics. So we're going to go back to our child self right now and see that in us. So what did the walls around you look like? What was hanging on the walls? Find a classroom, any classroom, it doesn't matter. Maybe it was math class that you can most bring yourself to and see what was hanging on the walls. Maybe it's a hallway. I picture myself in my high school's hallway for some reason. That memory is most vivid for me. Maybe there's a smell. Maybe it's not school at all. Maybe it's your bedroom where you sat and worked on your homework. But can you take yourself backwards in time with smells and sights and sounds and what your body felt like in those moments? Get for yourself a strong visual, tactile sense of your younger self. What was your haircut like? It might make you laugh a little bit. Enjoy the laugh. Embrace the moment. Did you have braces? Did you have acne? What perfume or cologne were you enjoying experimenting with? Oh my God, I just had like Tommy cologne come in my head so strong just now. Okay, I'm there. I'm in that hallway in high school and it smells like Tommy. And I'm wearing baggy jeans that are wet around the bottoms because Oregon. And I feel like an outcast, like an outsider. And I do not know how to navigate this system. And so I begin to adapt. So I'm going to go, myself right now, as I am in this moment, I'm going to go with her. And I'm going to walk right beside her and I'm going to hold her hand. And I invite you to do the same. So there's two of you now. It's like an awkward time travel movie. Just embrace it. It's like a comic book show. It's the Umbrella Academy. There's two of you in that hallway, in that classroom. There's the you now, and there's that younger self. And we're going to have a conversation. And I want you to speak to that younger you. And I want you first to affirm for that younger self that these ways that they're learning to move through the world are normal. They're human. They're okay. They do not make you crazy, sweet child. They do not make you a problem. Practice non-judgment for your inner child. Explain to them how it works, that they are learning and adapting and surviving, and assure them that they're doing exactly what they should be doing, what all humans do. They're adapting to the environment around them. Tell them that it makes sense. Grab a specific action you know they do to cope. Are you like Colby, where you go for just good enough to get that A still? Are you like me, where you just shove all the papers in your binder and ignore that it exists until you've learned that you failed the class and it somehow still surprises you? Wherever you were in that time, You as an adult now speak to that self and assure them that it makes sense exactly what they are doing. That everything particular about them in that moment is shifting to adapt and survive, and assure them that that makes sense. Say it. It makes sense, sweetheart, that you're doing this, that you're doing these things, that you're adapting in this way. I see you. Maybe hold that younger self's hand and move to a different spot in the room or to a different room entirely now. I'm going to move with my younger self through that hallway. And I just realized why that hallway appeared for me. Like that's just coming to me now as I'm doing this meditation. I'm realizing why that hallway was the space. And it's because it was a place of extreme, let's just say it this way for now, so as not to distract from the work. It was a place that makes sense that is stuck in my brain, right? So there's strong association there. And so I'm going to move my younger self out of that hallway now. We're going to walk out, and we're going to walk out into the courtyard. It's not that far. I don't have to go far. I'm just going to walk away from the hallway now and out into the courtyard. So I invite you to do the same. Still might feel a little silly. You're going to walk hand in hand with your younger self, time traveling along. You're going to say this way now, just a little bit this way, a different spot. And now I want you to affirm for your younger self. Speak to them and affirm that those messages that they're receiving about their enoughness, because they're getting those messages right then and there. This is where all that you've experienced in adulthood is taking shape. Affirm for them that they are receiving messages about their enoughness and that did something in them. It caused a shift in the way that they carry themselves in the world. There's loss there. There's grief there. There's a loss of a childhood, what we might refer to as innocence, imagination, purity, true self. Say to that younger self, I see you. I see this loss, this shift. I see you responding to the world, sweet one. And I affirm that you're receiving those messages and it's doing something to you, and I grieve with you. I see you becoming according to the world's ways, and I grieve with you in that. Grieve with yourself, your younger self. If your mind starts to shift and be distracted from this meditation, use your senses, use your body to bring yourself back to the moment. What was that space like? That younger self space. Use the senses, the smell, the sights. Start describing it to yourself. The courtyard had these cement planters that I always sat on the edge of and put my backpack to the side of, and it smelled like pine. And there were always loud teenage boys everywhere. Now I'm going to take my younger self's hand again. We're going to travel one more time. We're going to travel through space and time again to now. We went back to our younger self, and now we're going to bring our younger self to today. Bring them with you. So what does it smell like right now in your house? Are there cookies baking, coffee brewing, a candle lit? What's the scent? Is it hot? What does that feel like on your skin? Bring that younger self with you to that space. We've shared space with our younger self, and now we're going to bring that younger self to share space with our now self. Create a space for them to snuggle up next to you. Be as silly with it as you can bring yourself to be. Share the blanket. Hold space for that younger self with you now today. And again, you're going to affirm. You today is going to affirm that that child self, are with you in everything that you do. You recognize that. Say, I see you. I see you in what I'm doing today, and I honor you. Thank them. Thank them for getting you as far as they have. Thank them specifically. Name their coping mechanisms. Name the ways they have shifted and adapted in survival to get you here today, and thank them. Even, especially, those things that you have named shadow, that you have named unhealthy, that you have named coping. Sure, shadow, okay. And it's how you survived. It's how you made it to today. So thank your inner child that struggled with that message inside of inner critic over and over and over again. Am I doing enough? And just say thank you. Thank you for grappling with that all this time. Thank you for bringing me to today. Thank you for those jobs that you made it so I could have. Thank you for this life that you made it so that I could live. These walls around me are here because you brought me to this moment. And then lastly, invite your child self to join you as you shift yet again. As Colby invited us to ask, is this the question that works for me right now? Is this the conversation I need to be having with myself? Do I need to assure myself in this moment? No, you're doing enough. Or do I need to shift and say, actually, you're not, and that's okay. Whatever the questions of your inner critic that you're grappling with today, invite your inner child to come with you in that work. Join me. Because you have your patterns, inner child. You have your ways of doing things. Colby named today that his pattern has been to say back to that spiraling inner critic, no, you're doing enough. And then he had this amazing moment of self-love, shifting and adapting to the time. And allowing him to say, no, not right now, you're not. That's okay. So I invite you to do the same with inner child sitting with you in the space today, holding your hand. Invite them to come with you and ask questions. What's helpful for us today? Inner self, inner child. And last visualization with this inner child, I want you to picture that ladder, and I don't know if it's possible to put that image was so great on the screen. If it is possible, great. If not, just in your own head, mind, and space, imagine a ladder against a wall. And once again, shifting space with your inner child, take them by the hand and climb the ladder together. And I want you today to turn to your inner child and ask, is this wall that our ladder's propped against? Do you remember, inner child? Is it the wall we wanted back before all of these messages filled us up? Can I borrow some of your pure imagination before those messages? Can you help me take this ladder and prop it against an older, purer version of our dreams and our hopes and our goals? Just allow your inner child to help you evaluate the wall your ladder is propped against. You need her, him, them. You need that young self with you in that evaluating. Is this where we want to be? Is this where we want our ladder? And if not, together you can climb down. Put that ladder wherever you want it to be. And maybe today it's just as simple as acknowledging, nope, it's not really the wall we want our ladder propped against. But invite that younger self to come with you on that journey of discerning, of asking. Are these goals the goals we even want to be clamoring towards, to be climbing? climbing in vain? I hope that however this meditation worked for you this morning, that at least you're able in some way to look back at a younger version of yourself that was first adapting to the world around you. And I hope you're able to include them on your journey now. Let's take a deep breath in our nose and out through the mouth. Thank you, young self, for all the work you did to get us here, all that adapting, all of that shifting. Maybe learn to include the parts of us that existed before the world got to us. Amen. Unrestrained, your love is wild. Your love is wild for me. It isn't shy, it's unashamed. Your love is proud to be seen with me. And you don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us. Uncontrolled, uncontained, your love is fire, burning bright for me. It's not a spark, it's not just a flame. Your love is light, and all the world will see. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us. You don't give your heart in pieces. You don't hide yourself to tease us.
Your love's not fractured, it's not a troubled mind. It isn't anxious, it's not the restless kind. Your love's not passive, never disengaged. It's always present, it hangs on every word we say.
Love keeps its promises,
Now's the time in our gathering where we invite you to join us in this ritual, this spiritual practice that we do every Sunday at Sojourn. And it's a thing we can do together virtually, even while we're apart, as a way to find some connection. So take what you have this morning as your bread, as your item to chew. Maybe that's what we just call it, the chewable and the drinkable. We're just spitballing ideas here.
Yeah.
And as you take it this morning, I invite you, as you serve yourself, as you continue this act of self-compassion and self-love, I invite you to serve yourself with this as a way of remembering a restoring of togetherness, that you are a whole, beautiful being, and yet we divide ourselves so many times into so many parts. And may we with this restore and bring back together through this act of love, bring all of our parts in. It all belongs. So take and eat this morning. You want to do the drinkable?
The drinkable. I always take too much biteable.
Yeah, I cut mine in half that you gave me. It's too big.
You are full of life. You know that? Even when it feels like you're not. Even when you're drained by this crappy world we live in. You're full of life. You're full of life. You have all resources available to you. You can love yourself well. As you take this morning of whatever drinkable you have, just remind yourself of that you are a well overflowing with resource in life.
Felt like a toddler holding a sippy cup. Why did I grip it like that?
I don't know, but it was cute. Inner child, that's why, because you did the inner child work and then you came to
I
the
think because
table.
that's maybe how you might grab the chalice, so might look less weird when you have the chalice. But I did it with the. Can we do one more song and then we'll get out of here? Love you. Thank you for communing with us.
Think you know all about it. It seems you are wrong. Hit it out of the park before it even begun. Needed sunshine in the darkness burning out. Now I know that I'm the fuel and you're the spark. 'Cause we are bound to each other's hearts, caught, torn, and pulled apart. This love is like wildfire to my word. Now I'll be true, can't stop this breaking loose. This love is like wildfire, So feelings arranged deep down inside. Try describing the love you can't design. More and more, every inch of me is holding on. This is it. All the flames are burning strong, as we are bound to each other's hearts, caught, torn, and pulled apart. This love is like wildfire. even begun. We are bound to each other's hearts, come torn, pulled apart. This love is like wildfire. To my word, now I'll be true. Can't stop this breaking loose. This love is like wildfire.
All right, I'm gonna try something. Kate, do you see on the computer there? Can you pick a different camera? If you like move your mouse around a little bit, can you select this as the camera? Like if you go on the screen, if you put your mouse over the cursor. So I'm gonna switch to this is a what hangs above every single service since we started meeting here. There's a skylight right there, and the first few Sundays the skylight was pretty intense. Then I think we just put like a towel over it, and then several different iterations. Oh yeah, one Sunday the towel started to fall on us, and now for the last 5 months we've had this hanging. It's this kind of sheer fabric flag that says, can somebody read it? Because I'm. In this home, we believe.
Love is love. Black lives matter. Climate change is real. No human being is illegal. All genders are whole, holy, and good. Women have agency over their bodies.
All right, you can switch back to the main camera now. I just wanted to show you that sort of hangs above as this beautiful symbolic covering over this space that we set. Yeah, you can all come in for that. I'm just like, while we have this second camera feature, I'm gonna show.
That's fun.
The biblical joke is their banner over me is love.
The banner over me is love.
Okay, Matt.
His banner over me, his banner over you, his banner over us. It is love, love, love.
There's a lot going on right now.
Oh yeah, banquet day. That's what you were doing. To his banqueting. Oh my gosh. Speaking of deterioration, were we not yet? Okay, it was a nice moment. Anyway, we have this benediction, and we say it at the conclusion of every one of our gatherings, whether IRL or digitally, and all it takes is a leader. And some Sunday, coming up soon, we're gonna, now that we can invite guests on so easily, we're gonna invite some of you out to come and pop in and do our benediction for and with us.
Yeah, you have been warned. I'm going to be reaching out to lots
Won't
of
that be
you.
fun? All right.
I can't wait to see you.
But for now, you're stuck with us again. So one of us will lead, and we will follow them.
Be brave
Because you're a child of God.
and be kind.
Because so is everyone else. Love you. Have a good week. Special thanks to Alyssa and Stephen for joining us. It's been a great Sunday. Take care of yourselves.